Welcome to HR After Dark, where we solve the people problems that are keeping you up at night. With your host, Kayla Williams. Hello again, and welcome back to HR After Dark. We're really happy to have you here with us today, especially because we are discussing a topic that no one wants to talk about, but everyone needs to: recruitment, acquiring talent acquisition, however you want to call it. We need people, and we need people bad. So let's talk about what that looks like, because in today we've seen so many changes over the years as far as hiring goes, changes in the processes, laws, procedures. So today, really what I'm going over is what it looks like. 2024, we're here. So let's do it. First, I want to talk about the evolution of recruitment. Now, I promise I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I think that not only is it important for us to kind of think back on how things were so that we remember what to do and what not to do. You go through things to learn lessons, but also because there are generations within the workplace now who don't know what it looked like. Decades ago, newspaper ads were definitely the way to go for job listings, but today, digital platforms revolutionizing the way that companies connect with potential candidates. There are still newspapers that hold ads for job postings, but whenever you're trying to recruit for top talent, not the place to go. The rise of LinkedIn and online job boards such as Indeed, Monster, there's so many. I think I can probably Google right now and I'm going to find at least 100 job boards out there. But they have made it easier for recruiters and for candidates. It's been a lot easier for recruiters to reach out globally to like a top talent pool. And so it's changed the dynamics of recruiting, talent acquisition, however you want to call it. We're just going to call it recruiting in this podcast. Understanding the evolution of recruitment practices can really help companies appreciate the importance of adapting to new technologies and strategies to recruit top talent, and so that their retention rates are good. Yeah, that's what everybody wants, right? Nobody wants to continuously recruit all year long. So I'm going to go into quite a few tips that, I would love to have had a guest on here for this one. We had a last minute cancellation, and that's okay. But she did send over quite a few notes for me to go over, and I dug deep into these. So first I want to go over building a strong employer brand. A compelling employer brand not only attracts top talent, but it significantly reduces hiring costs. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, I'm spending all that money on branding, right? Well, it reduces hiring costs by engaging candidates who are already aligned with the company's culture and values. There's no guess of, you still want to do your due diligence, of course. Don't put that on me if you don't. But when someone applies for your company, they at least know a little bit about you. They know your name. They probably know at least what you do and the position that they're applying for. Whereas whenever recruiters are reaching out, there's always a chance that it doesn't quite align, that maybe the personality, the culture, the values are not going to quite align. Now, I'm not saying let's do away with recruiters, because we're going to get into that here in a few. But successful companies use storytelling through social media and the careers page to give potential candidates a real insight into what it's like to work for them. Employee testimonies, by the way, can be a very powerful tool in building an authentic employer brand, because it's showcasing real life experiences and growth opportunities within the company. And those are some of the things that are going to draw in top talent, lasting talent to your company. And on that same note, leveraging social media for recruitment. Social media platforms offer a very unique opportunity for companies to showcase their culture and values in a more informal setting. I think informal is the word that I'm looking for here. An informal and engaging way. That's social media, right? And that could be very attractive to potential candidates. Recruiters use LinkedIn not just to post jobs, but to actively search for and connect with passive candidates who may not be actually looking for a new role. But it's a wonder because, and I feel like we almost need to do a podcast on LinkedIn, and not really the functionality of it, but how it has helped to grow and shape businesses, not just in HR. I heard someone tell me one day that LinkedIn was Facebook for professionals. And I have to agree. It's where all my professional connections really are myself. And I have had recruiters reach out to me, and some of those are even positions that, yeah, sure. I mean, I qualify for, but the great thing is that they reach out. I can visit the company page and I can see my culture, my values do not align with those companies. And it's almost like a time saver for me. As a hiring manager, it is whenever I reach out to somebody and they say, it doesn't really match, like, thank you for the opportunity. It's a time saver. I mean, it really is. That way we're kind of cutting out the interview and getting to another point way down the road of, hey, this isn't a match for us. Instagram and Twitter can also be used to highlight company events, employee spotlights. Those are huge, and day-to-day life in the office. And all of those things add up on social media to make the company more attractive to prospective employers. Now, I want to kind of go into diversity and inclusion in recruiting. Don't worry, this is not going to be a DEI session, even though we love our DEI trainings here. I know not everyone does, but I think it's important to cover this. So implementing unbiased recruitment practices such as blind resumes, structured interviews, it can help companies advance towards a more diverse and inclusive workplace. Diversity in recruitment isn't just about filling a quota. It's about bringing in a range of perspective, ideas, and all of those drive innovation and reflect the global customer base that many companies have. Recruiters really should be actively seeking out and creating partnerships with organizations and communities that support underrepresented groups to widen their talent pool. And that's all that I'll touch on for DEI today. But we do have some, and this is just a shameless little plugging in here. Everyone knows we are brought to you guys by JER HR Group. We have some amazing presenters and organizers, management consultants, whoever that can help you with your DEI if you need it. It's a very, very close to my heart subject. But let's continue on. We're here to talk about recruiting today. A big thing for, I think, really just, I would say 2023, 2024 that we've seen is the role of artificial intelligence and technology as a whole in recruitment. AI has the ability, whenever you have been trained to utilize AI and you know your resources, AI can streamline your recruitment process. It can automate tasks like initial resume screening, allowing recruiters to focus on engaging with top candidates. While technology can enhance recruitment efficiency, companies really do need to be aware of the biases that can be inherent in the AI algorithms and work to mitigate those. Now, when we talk about, because of course AI has flaws, and we talk about using it for, and I'm just going to use resume screening as an example here. The AI can accidentally create biases within itself. I have played around before in utilizing this type of software, and my suggestion would be to take off any identifying information such as location and name. Most definitely, if it has a picture on the resume, take that off as well. And you're like, well, how can I do this? How can I do this? Most systems that have AI integration will ask you, what do you want AI to scan or search for, right? So what you can do is you can put in, maybe take out all applications that don't have anything to do with project management. Or maybe take out all the applications that don't have these skills or these keywords in it. And it can be tricky at first to find your rhythm in utilizing AI in this way, but I highly recommend it. I highly recommend giving it a try, at least. Now, virtual reality experience and gamified assessments are also really innovative ways companies are utilizing technology to assess candidate skill and culture fit. On that note, I have to also say that JER offers DISC assessments. They're a very wonderful way to not only look at what a candidate's skill level is, but that cultural fit, where they're going to, how you're going to be interacting with them, how they're going to interact with their colleagues. It's got a lot of benefits. Now, continuing forward, I know I got on a bit of a technology kick there. We need to talk about recruitment marketing strategies. Just like in marketing a product, recruitment marketing involves creating a quote unquote buyer persona for your ideal candidate and targeting them with tailored content. Now, a buyer persona, for those who do not know, is kind of like your imaginary friend. Okay. So let's say I need to create a buyer persona for a candidate for JER. So let's say we're hiring for a project coordinator, right? So I'm going to create this persona of who the person is that I am looking for. Okay. So I'm going to call this guy Jay. What am I looking for in Jay? I kind of create like a resume for Jay of this is the type of resume that I'm looking for. And then I ask myself, if I'm Jay, how would I want to be reached? How would I come across this job posting? Where am I at? Am I on LinkedIn? Am I on Facebook, Instagram? Where am I? And where can this company reach me? So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. That is creating your quote unquote buyer persona, which I guess in this case would just be a candidate persona, and targeting them with that tailored content. Now, effective recruitment marketing strategies use a mix of content marketing, social media, and employee stories to create really a compelling narrative about the company. You want to be a place that someone wants to work at. There's also analytics and data-driven approaches. And those approaches in recruitment marketing help companies understand where the best candidates come from and how to optimize their recruitment efforts, which really just means that we need to find something measurable. Whenever you are trying these things and doing these things, how are you measuring their effectiveness? How are you measuring whether or not you're reaching the right candidate, the time that it takes for a candidate to go through your process, the time that it takes for your HR to even sort through all of the resumes that come in? And so you want a very analytical approach here. You want numbers, real numbers. And you should be able to, especially if you're utilizing technology like a recruitment system You should be able to get those numbers from there as long as you have properly put in, all your procedures and what you're doing, all those type of things. Now going in, I'm gonna kind of hit on a couple of different topics. We've been very technical and very much on the business side of things so far, but I really want to talk about the candidate experience. A positive candidate experience starts from the very first interaction and includes clear communication, respectful interviews, and constructive feedback. That's right. Even the ones that you turn down, you really should be trying to give feedback to. Improving the candidate experience can significantly impact a company's ability to attract top talent, as candidates often share their experience with other people in their network. And I have seen some complaints about this in the most recent years about candidates sharing their experience, especially on places like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and Indeed. Those three in particular jump into my mind because employees are able to just hop on and, leave their reviews. Now, I know there's some bad apples in that group, but for the most part, you get genuine reviews of your company and you want those reviews to go very well. Okay. Now, is it realistic that every employee, when being at your company or leaving your company, is going to have an absolutely wonderful time? No. But what is realistic is that you can make sure to the best of your ability that these candidates and these employees are having a good experience with your company. And speaking of employees, a very great way of bringing in talent is an employee referral program. So I really would say I don't see a ton of companies with this nowadays, but it's coming back. It's almost like coming back in style, much like the flared jeans I've seen recently. An employee referral program can significantly speed up the recruitment process by leveraging the network of your existing employees. You offer incentives for successful referrals, not only encouraging employees to recommend quality candidates, but also it boosts overall employee engagement. Transparency about the referral process and regular updates to employees about their referral status can enhance participation in the program as well, because a lot of companies don't do the follow-up. An employee might send over a name or someone might apply and put them down as a referral. And then no one knows what happens, especially if that candidate's reaching out to the employee and saying, hey, do you think you check on my application because I haven't heard anything yet? It definitely can create some awkward or weird situations. It can create frustration and honestly just leave a bad taste in a candidate's mouth. So transparency, very important. Next up, I am going to go over effective onboarding practices. Now, I'm not giving you all our secrets right quite yet. That's going to be for another day. Today, though, I need for you guys to hear that an effective onboarding process is crucial for retaining top talent. It sets the stage for new employees' success and integration into the company culture. Customized onboarding plans that cater to individual needs of new hires can significantly improve their productivity and job satisfaction. Integrating technology into the onboarding process, such as virtual reality tours and online learning platforms, can also make the experience more engaging and informative. And when you have those learning platforms in place, it's a wonderful resource for candidates and employees to turn back to, because not everyone does the same job all the time. So if you have training videos or how-to videos that they can refer back to, engaging, informative, goes along with the company culture and significantly improves your chances of keeping on that top talent. Now, navigating the challenges of remote recruitment can be a bit finicky. Remote recruitment really requires innovative approaches to interviewing and assessing candidates. And I'm talking virtual interviews, remote work simulations, even down to testing internet speed. Building a sense of team and culture with remote employees starts during the recruitment process, emphasizing communication and collaboration tools. The challenge of establishing trust and assessing fit without an in-person interaction can actually be mitigated through structured interviews and clear communication of the company's values and expectations. I highly recommend that if you are working on your recruiting processes, you're making some changes, especially with all the laws that have changed, I would say, over the past 15 to 18 months, that you look into not only having a recruiting process in place, but also one for remote recruiting. Now, these processes are going to be very similar. They can even be in the same process, but, just like a subcategory, what have you. But recruiting is a beast of its own, right? So you need to, again, this comes down to clear communication, engagement, information, company values, expectations, all of these things. I'm pretty sure throughout this episode, all of our little tips, all of our, tricks have boiled down to getting your life in order and communicating it, right? Thank you so much again for joining me for another episode of HR After Dark.